So you're new to Le Mans Ultimate. Welcome to the sim racing world. Here, you're going to start out in bronze rank in multiplayer, and you're going to have access to two different classes. You've got the GTEs and the GT3s. I almost looked like I didn't know what I was talking about, but I promise you I do. Anyways, so you're probably struggling with figuring out a car that feels best for you. A lot of the physics and handling in this game are drastically different from games like Forza Motorsport, Assetto Corsa, and iRacing. So I've actually done a lot of experimenting with a lot of the cars in this game, and I'm going to give you a tip on two cars that are really beginner friendly and how to get them to be beginner friendly. So stick with me here, because the first car we're going to start off with is the BMW M4 LMGT3. Now, the biggest disclaimer for this car is that this car is not included in the base game. This is a car that you will have to pay for in their expansion packs. But if you want me to be completely honest, I genuinely think the expansion packs are worth it because it adds more cars, more tracks, and they are continuing to do more stuff like that. Now, is it kind of gimmicky to have a pay to get more cars and tracks? Yeah, I'm not thrilled with it, and that's why I'm still kind of waiting for Project Motor Racing to come out before I decide, am I going to stick mainly with this or Project Motor Racing? But until then, I love this. This is fun for me, so I want to help other people have a good time with it too. So we're going to pick the BMW M4 LMGT3 for our first car recommendation for beginners. And I'm going to walk you guys through how to set this car up to make it feel controllable and to feel drivable and to feel competitive. Okay, so the beautiful thing is when you go into the beginner daily races for the online races, everything's going to be basically presets for your cars. Now I'm going to get rid of my camera really quickly so you guys can see a full view of what's going on here. But essentially, this is all going to be grayed out. You're not going to have to worry about this at all. You're only going to have to worry about your virtual energy and fuel for your laps. Don't worry too much about that otherwise. It will affect the weight of the car, so my recommendation for you is to make sure that your virtual energy is set to the amount of laps that you're going to be doing in the race. So if it's 10 laps in a race, you're going to set this down to where it says roughly, I would give it an extra lap personally. That's me being safe about it. So I would give it 11 laps worth of fuel instead of 10. But that's personal preference. Now we're going to come down here to the electronics. So the GT3 cars, they all come with several different things. GT3 specifically comes with ABS. On the BMW, I have found that for me, the car feels most controllable when I set the ABS to number 5, balanced. Okay, you can drop it to 4 if you want a little more turning on it. Truly, it's up to your personal preference. But I think 5 keeps the car exactly where it needs to be. Now, I did see another YouTuber who also plays this game, and for the life of me, I sadly can't remember his name, and I regret the fact that I can't remember his name, so please forgive me. But if you know who I'm talking about, let me know. He actually did a bunch of experimenting with all of the TCs. The TC is your traction control. So you've got onboard traction control power cut, and traction control slip angle. I don't remember specifically what slip angle does, but I know the traction control power cut determines how much engine power your car gets coming out of a curve. And so like to help prevent spin out. And then onboard traction control obviously is helping you keep traction under braking through corners. And I fucking hope I said that right, because if I didn't, I'm going to feel like an idiot. So anyways, the onboard traction control I've been told that it works really well, and I can confirm that it works really well when you take the traction control and you drop it in half. If it's an odd number, round up. So onboard TC at 4. I actually drop the power cut down by 1. If I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll drop it down another 1. But usually just dropping it down by 1 helps. And now bear with me here. Raising the traction control slip angle all the way up to 11. That's what you're going to want to do. That's what's going to help you kind of feel out the car and feel how things are. You're not going to have to worry about aero. This is going to be grayed out. You don't have to mess with this. You won't have to worry about setups and shit until you get into the silver and gold rank daily races. But it's going to be a bit of a grind to get there. So just be prepared that that's what you're going to have to deal with. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take the car out. I'm going to show you guys just a little bit of how the car feels on the way out. So here we go. So obviously when you're coming out of the pits, you're gonna have cold tires and cold brakes. So your car isn't gonna brake as efficiently or stop as efficiently as it will on warmed up tires. I do believe there are tire warmers on bronze ranked races, and it is strictly either LMGT3 or LMGTEs and not multi-class races, so keep that in mind as well. But we're gonna do a lap around to get the tires warm, and then when we come back, you guys will kind of see that the car feels very controllable. Even still, even right out the pits too. And before you guys come for me, yeah, I use the racing line. Don't hate, it's what I do, okay? I just use it. Now, normally it's recommended that on your first lap out of the pits, you don't want to go ham. You want to kind of let the tires warm up, let the brakes warm up. You don't have to go hard. You can kind of just guide the car around. However, in the bronze sessions, you don't have a lot of time in practice. You actually get, like, in the actual race itself, you get 3 minutes for practice, I think 5 minutes for qualifying, and then you do your 20-minute race. And then you're off to the races. So just bear in mind with that strategy and how you want to do things. All right. You guys can make fun of me if you want for how I drive. I'm still learning racing lines and gearing, but I've gotten a decent hang of it, I believe, in my personal opinion, where I'm finishing at least most of the time in the top 10. And I'm happy with that. That makes me happy. So anyways, now that we've gotten a bit of heat into the brakes, it's time to figure out, or not to figure out, but for me to explain to you guys exactly why you want these settings. And you want these settings because if you're anything like me and you're really gung-ho on the accelerator out of corners, without these settings at certain values, your car, you're gonna lose the back end pretty easily. So one of the big things in this game also is learning throttle control, but with this car, it is a lot more forgiving. Even if you accidentally are a little bit heavier on the throttle going through corners, or coming out of corners, with these settings that I've given you specifically, I found that the car is much less likely to spin out in the back, so you're gonna have a lot more control over it as it goes. Which in my opinion, for somebody who's still learning like how to be a better sim racer, that's a pretty good trade-off. I have tried the same type of settings on all of the other cars as well, and for the most part, most of the other cars are a little more finicky. For instance, the Lamborghini, I love the Lamborghini. It's actually one of my favorite cars to like start to learn too as well. It's incredibly agile through corners in my personal opinion, but she's so finicky that if you're not careful with how hard you hit the accelerator out of a corner, that car's going around. There's nothing stopping it from going around. So you have to be really careful with how you manage the throttle coming through these corners. But in my personal opinion, the BMW M4 is the most beginner-friendly car in this game when it comes to the daily bronze lobby races. So feel it out for yourself if you're new to Le Mans Ultimate. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any better recommendations for the settings as well to make it feel just as stable and still a little more competitive. But yeah, that's how I feel on the BMW, and hopefully it's a little helpful. I'm not a pro by any means necessary, but I am somebody who's learning a lot in the sim racing world, and I hope that I can use these skills to kind of help you guys along. Okay, so the second car that I'm going to recommend to you guys, but is as far as I am aware from when they did the full release of this game out of early access, the Mercedes-AMG LMGT3 is a free kart that you can use in the GT3 classes. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but I am 99.9% sure that this car is free to use for everybody. So this car is fun, okay? Because this car definitely feels a little more agile, a little faster, and if you can really master getting this car around a track, you're gonna have a really, really good time. Also, I'm currently baking a pizza, so if at any reason I have to pause and step away or transition, you guys know that it's only to pull my pizza out of the oven. That being said, let's go to the car setup. Now, everything that I told you about how to tune the BMW, I want you to fucking forget about that, okay? Because this car is gonna be a lot different. With this car, I'm just gonna do that fuel for funsies. The onboard traction control, we're going to drop that down to 4. We're going to drop the power cut to 4. We're still going to slam the slip angle all the way up to 11. We're going to put the brake bias at 51.2. And we're going to drop the ABS to 5. It also works really well with 4, but just know that with 4, she's going to be just a tiny bit pickier on your throttle control, okay? Now remember, like I said, all of this, the aero, grayed out, presets, grayed out, don't worry about that shit, okay? At least for bronze lobbies. There are setup websites for the silver and gold lobbies, and you guys can worry about that. Some of them require you to pay for setups. I don't really believe in doing that, so I'll probably just suck it up and deal with what I got, because at the end of the day, a good driver can easily win a race with a stock setup if they're good at what they do compared to somebody who has a setup. And that is something that I've heard several times from several different sim racers who've been doing it for a while. So that being said, this setup right here for the Mercedes LMG is actually one that I have found, or sorry, Mercedes AMG is one that I have found that works really well with this car. So as per usual, I'm going to take my lap to get the tires warmed up, and then we'll get around the track and I'll kind of show you guys what I'm talking about and hopefully not look like a fucking idiot. Now, this car, she's a lot more slippery in the back. I will be straight up honest with you. If you are not careful with your throttle, even with these settings, you're a bit more likely to spin than you are in the BMW. But when you learn the art of getting her slowed down properly with trail braking, which is another important skill that you need to learn if you're a beginner in Le Mans Ultimate. I'm still learning. It's not perfect, but I'm getting there. And then if you're not careful with your throttle through out of corners, this car will spin on you. And you'll feel it in your force feedback if you're on a wheel and pedal. So yeah, we're gonna take her around. We're gonna get these tires warmed up, get the brakes warmed up a little bit. And then we'll take her around for a full lap, and hopefully you guys will see what I mean. I have to kind of listen for my pizza in the oven too, so I don't burn the fucking apartment down, or my dinner. Because it's not just my dinner, it's also mine and Stephanie's dinner. While the shifting. Yeah, you gotta be real careful on these curves, because she'll slip on you. Okay, hold on. I heard the oven go off. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's get her back up to speed. But hopefully what I'm saying to you guys makes sense. Like I said, the point of this isn't for me to be like, oh, I'm fantastic at this game and you need to listen to what I say because I know everything. No, I don't fucking know everything. I'm still trying my hardest to learn and to be good at this game. And I have a lot to learn still. And so I'll also take any additional tips and tricks in the comments from anybody else watching who may even be a little more well-versed in these types of games than I am. I will absolutely take the tips and tricks because I love doing this. This is so fun for me. I think about this constantly. It's honestly a little bad how much I think about this game and playing sim racing, but you know, whatever, man. When you love something, you love it. But anyways, the point is, I just want to help all the beginners who come into this game, and who probably felt like me, who probably felt a little overwhelmed with like figuring out cars and stuff. Fucking neutral shift, damn it. See, with that one, I'd have to brake a little earlier. So yeah, overall, you want to just be really careful, really smooth through the corners, And as you go, you'll learn, you know, how hard can I push the pedal through the corners where I either spin or where I can keep a much more consistent time and all that jazz. It's practice. Practice makes perfect. You'll also learn when and where you can brake later and all that jazz. You can also keep an eye on your tires and this little readout that they got going on. And if you want to change any of your settings on the fly, you can also do that too via this little thing too. Like for instance, I'm actually going to drop the ABS to 4 because I still feel like I'm not braking enough into corners. So we're going to see. Okay, see right there? I kind of felt the car slide out from under me, so I had to stop it, but okay, see, that was terrible. That was not good. Now, here's where I'm embarrassing myself, putting my fucking foot in my mouth. So, anyways, that is my recommendation in Le Mans Ultimate. I still struggle a bit with the LMGT3 cars because they don't have ABS. So you have to be real careful with how you brake in those cars, because you can lock up your tires. You will wear your tires down quickly and it can get ugly. You will probably not hit your braking points that you might want to hit in that game. So that's something to just be wary of. But, you know, other than that, that's personally just for the GT3 cars, my recommendation. If you want me to do a video on the GTEs, I do have one car that I feel pretty comfortable using that I feel like I can use consistently. And I will make a video on that if you guys want to see it. But truthfully, if anybody watches this video and they know how to race in the LMP2 cars, can you give your boys some tips? Because I keep locking up those front tires on hard braking zones and I cannot for the life of me stop. But I love the LMP2 cars and I want to get good with them. So that being said, if this was helpful for you guys in any way, please make sure you give the video a thumbs up and you hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. I love sim racing. Like I said, I don't claim to be a pro. I'm fucking bottom split in all of my online races right now still. But I love it enough that I want to finish doing it and keep doing it because it means the world to me. So that being said, like I said, like, subscribe, hang out with me on Twitch. I live stream sim racing on Twitch, twitch.tv/KillTheHorizon. And I also have 2 other channels, a horror channel and a variety channel if you want to check those out. Other than that, please be good to each other and I'll see you guys in the next video.